Alright, you guys, welcome back to the channel. We're here for some more Dragon Ball Sparking Zero Switch 2 speculation. I just watched the Direct. It was 10 out of 10 if you ask me. Looking forward to a lot of the Nintendo Switch games and even some of the third-party games. So the Direct actually sparked an idea, hence today's video. They revealed the specs, the hardware system. It's actually very powerful. So I do feel like in the future, eventually, there's a chance, some potential that will receive Sparking Zero for the Switch 2. Now, at the time of recording this video, Sparking Zero is not confirmed for the Switch 2 at all. It was not announced at this Direct. This is nothing but pure speculation. Let me know down below in the comments. Do you guys think there's a chance for Sparking Zero to be on the Switch 2? I think so after what they just revealed. By the way, this is nothing but a Sparking Zero Switch 2 visual that we have here on screen. Just concept art. I do think it's a very interesting topic. So without further ado, please make sure to drop a like on today's video, turn on post notifications. We're going to go ahead and break everything down and let's hop straight into it. So here are the hardware specs / details for the Switch 2. Bro, it's up there competing with the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series now. This is such a very cool console, especially with all the unique games that we're going to be getting. Metroid Prime 4, the new Donkey Kong game, Mario Kart's Open World, and Kirby Air Riders. Dude, I might just switch over to be a Nintendo Switch channel. Hold on now. Anyway, so, of course, largest screen from the first Switch, and I think this is only for the handheld mode. It's going to go up to 120 FPS. That is top tier stuff with HDR supports. Now, of course, it's not going to be, 4K 120 FPS with HDR. There are going to be some limitations, and again, some of these are for the handheld version of the Switch 2, and some of them are for the dock where you play on the TV, right? So it doesn't necessarily clarify. You can watch the Direct yourself or even look up the Nintendo Switch website. I'm sure they'll go over everything in detail, but 120 FPS for handheld mode, HDR supports, larger buttons, Joy-Con mouse, built-in microphone. Don't necessarily care about all of that. 256 gigabyte of internal storage. So right here, so when you dock the Switch 2, TV supports, this is where you get to play some of the games up to 4K with HDR. That is pretty dang cool. The dock has cooling, backwards compatible. And here we have some of the different images. 120 FPS only available in compatible games, most likely with 1080p. And I think they confirmed when you play in 4K HDR, you can only go up to 60 FPS, right? Some limitations. But this is why I'm creating today's video. I do feel like the Switch 2 is strong enough to support Sparking Zero. I mean, if we're going to be getting third-party games like Elden Ring and Cyberpunk 2077 for the Nintendo Switch 2, then yeah, I kind of expect Sparking Zero to be on the Switch 2 as well. Now, we do have a history of the Dragon Ball games going over to the Switch. So this is the official Dragon Ball game portal lineup. We're going to go ahead and go all the way back to 2016 because this is, where Xenoverse 2 first dropped, or I guess 2017 right here for the Switch. So they have a history, right? First, they usually drop the Dragon Ball games for the PlayStation or Xbox, whatever it may be. So here we got Xenoverse 2. This is going to be the Japanese release date. Of course, over here in the US, it drops October 25th. Japanese release date was the November 2nd, right? So just a couple days apart. But a year later, 2017, September, we finally got the Switch version of Xenoverse 2. Going to the release of Dragon Ball FighterZ 2018, February, of course, it first initially dropped for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. About 7 months later, September 27th, 2018, the same year, we got FighterZ for the Nintendo Switch. It says right here, the consoles that they dropped for. So this was only around 7 months apart. Xenoverse 2 was about a year. And shout outs to Super Dragon Ball Heroes World Mission. Nintendo Switch got their very own exclusive Dragon Ball game. And then the next one is going to be Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Of course, dropped for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. This one almost took 2 years to get the imports, right? So 2020 January was the original release date. And then 2021 September 22nd, again, almost 2 years, we finally got the DBZ Kakarot plus New Awakening sets for the Nintendo Switch, correct? Now, this one took the longest because it's more of an open world Dragon Ball type of game. You know, it probably puts a lot of strain on the consoles themselves with the engine that they used. You know, CyberConnect 2, very top tier developers, if you ask me, with the cutscenes. So yeah, I can see why it took almost 2 years for them to, you know, import the original game over on the Switch. That was 2021. And Dragon Ball The Breakers, now, this actually had a universal release date across all consoles, PlayStation 4, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch, right? Because it's an asymmetrical action type of game, right? It doesn't necessarily put a lot of strain on the engine. You know, it's not up there in terms of the graphics, if you will. Still a great game, don't get me wrong, but this one had a release date all across the board, so they didn't necessarily need to downgrade the actual Dragon Ball game. And then, of course, with the PlayStation 5 Xbox Series, we got Kakarot, Fighters, and Xenoverse 2. So now we're up here with Sparking Zero. Of course, it only dropped for the new generation consoles, being PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series. We don't even have it for the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One. So, of course, it wasn't going to drop for the original Nintendo Switch. However, with the confirmation and details of the Switch 2, as well as them getting third-party top-tier 10 out of 10 games such as Elden Ring and Cyberpunk 2077, even on the original consoles like PC, PlayStation 5, aren't these games still slightly buggy? I'm not entirely sure. I haven't played these games, but, you know, taking all this into play, I feel like there's a good chance that we could be getting Sparking Zero for Switch 2. I mean, we have a history of all the other previous Dragon Ball games starting off on the original consoles, PlayStation and Xbox, and then about a year later, you know, they spawn over on the Switch. Of course, DBZ Kakarot took about 2 years because open world, CyberConnect 2, top tier graphics type of game. But you guys get the idea. Every single Dragon Ball game, you know, had to take some time to be playable on the Switch. So I think that could be the same thing for Sparking Zero. We have it for the PlayStation 5. We have it for the Xbox Series. And now the Switch 2 is a top-tier contender, you know, going alongside the beastly consoles being PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series. I feel like there's a good chance that we could be getting Sparking Zero on the Switch 2. I mean, we have HDR supports, which Sparking Zero has. It can go up to 120 FPS with 1080p graphics. If we dock the console, it can supports 4K HDR. Again, Sparking Zero, you can play it in 4K HDR, I think with 60 FPS. So you know what I mean? And not just these two games. I just mentioned Elden Ring and Cyberpunk just because, you know, they take a lot of resources. But here we have a list of third-party games that are confirmed for the Switch 2. I mean, kind of crazy. Final Fantasy VII Remake? Come on now, stop playing. Street Fighter 6? We got, what else? Borderlands, WW, whatever. Project 007? You know what I'm saying? Top tier type of games over on the Switch 2. Let's go. So let me know down below in the comments what you guys think about today's speculation. Do you think we'll be getting Sparking Zero on the Switch 2 eventually? Again, they didn't necessarily confirm it during that direct. It wasn't announced. This was just a fan-made concept somebody made. Credits to them, of course. But moving forward, here we have the actual Switch 2 details. So it's going to be dropping, you know, not like the specs, but the price and release date. So June 5th. That's literally tomorrow. Exaggerating, obviously. 2 months away. It's currently April 2nd. We literally have to wait 2 more months to play Switch 2. And the cool thing about this is that you can buy the Switch 2 normally, just the console, or you can buy the bundle with Mario Kart World. And let me just say, this game seems top tier. Dude, there's a mode in here, I believe, that you get to free roam. You don't even have to race anymore. You just get to chill, free roam, you know, go over in the sandy dunes, go over to the mountains, the glacier area. It's like open world, man. Hence the name Mario Kart World. That is just crazy. I'm looking forward to this console. However, the original console is going to cost 450 buckaroos. That is pretty dang expensive. Again, it's up there with PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series. I think they cost around 400, 450, or maybe even 500. Can't necessarily remember. The bundle with Mario Karts, that's going to cost 500 US dollars. Dang! Dang! It is what it is. We have to live with it, apparently. But yeah, a very, very cool console. I'm looking forward to all the games. I mean, not just Mario Kart World. We have, as I said before, Metroid Prime 4. What else? Kirby Air Ride. And there's one more. Donkey Kong, a brand new video game as well. It's just crazy, man. 2 months. 2 months and we get to play the Switch too. Now, apparently the Switch games, the physical edition, they're going to be costing a lot more than the digital copies of the game. I could be wrong. I have to look more into that. But I'm creating this video, you know, the Direct literally just ended. So, you know, all the specs, the details that we got, it just sparked an idea. If we're getting Elden Ring and Cyberpunk, plus the history of Dragon Ball games, you know, eventually coming to the Nintendo Switch, there's a good chance that we could get Sparking Zero over here for the Switch 2. This is it for today's video. Just wanted to talk a little bit about this. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching as always. Peace!